What the heck is going on? Multiple victims. I'm hearing different reports. Multiple people shot at the Kansas City Super Bowl parade, man. This is like, yeah, let's pray that
That's
there is no
Representative Ed Davis. He's a former
fatalities.
Boston police commissioner. Ed, walk us through what it's like for law enforcement when responding to a scene like this where there are so many people.
Right, it's extremely chaotic, and as Chuck said, unfortunately, these days you never know when two groups of people are going to run into each other and have shots break out like this. When the police initially get to the scene, their responsibility is to look for the shooter, and it sounds like there are some people in custody, so they may have been able to gather up the
Yeah, we
threats
don't
pretty
know. It's
quickly.
too early. We don't know
But
exactly what
whether
happened,
it's
but
the
there was
shooter or
shots
someone
fired.
affiliated with him
Multiple
that
people
has been
so
arrested,
far. Multiple
their
people
responsibility is
injured.
to stop the shooting from occurring,
This is
secure the
crazy.
area, and then most importantly, or I shouldn't say most importantly, it's actually a secondary concern, but it's extremely high importance, is to render first aid and get medical personnel in there as quickly as possible to save as many lives as they can.
And so we see in some of the pictures, Ed, police moving there into Union Station, some of them congregating outside of the area as they appear to be paying attention to something. I don't know what you might be gleaning from some of these images that we may not be picking up. What are you seeing?
Well, because of the chaos that surrounds these things, you don't know where the bad guy is, and you really have to point to or keep an eye on everything that's moving so that you can stop any threats that are occurring. So your head has to be on a swivel in a case like this because you don't really know.
Man, this
With all
shit.
those people
This
there,
is
you
crazy.
don't know.
This is
It's hard
crazy.
to sort of sort out the bad guys from the good guys, and other people could be showing up. That's the problem. Apparently, in this case, there had been an earlier shooting a few blocks away.
What?
Two people were shot.
A
Is this a
earlier shooting.
retaliatory shooting for that incident? We see that happen quite a bit. Or is this a totally different incident where two groups of people have guns? It's hard to say at this early point, but the police have to be aware of everything and be very quick to move when a threat presents itself.
We are, of course, monitoring the situation in Kansas City, Missouri, where shots have been fired at the Kansas City Chiefs victory parade. This is after winning the Super Bowl. We understand from our Josh Campbell that two suspects have been detained, multiple victims reported. We don't know the degree of
Wow.
their injuries
Multiple
or whether they
victims,
may even be
man.
deceased.
This
We're going to stay on top of this story, but we're going to squeeze in a quick break. To regroup, we'll bring you
savages.
the very latest as soon as we can.
Savages. This remind me of the incident. This remind me of the incident that took place in remember when in Illinois, like right near Chicago, where they had this transgender, this transvestite, right? Just remember the transvestite. The dude was dressed up as a woman and he got on top of the building and started sniping people in Illinois, like right near Chicago. That happened about 3 or 4 years ago when that situation happened, man. You can't put nothing past these savages. We don't know what the situation. We really don't know what the situation is. We don't know whether it was two groups of people that had beef that met up and just shot it out and didn't give a damn who was gonna catch a stray, or it could have been a planned terrorist attack. We don't know. This literally just went down, and the shit is like just this shit is crazy, man. You know, Y'all, this is what I woke up to, man. I had a long night in the studio. But listen, y'all be safe out there. Um, like I told y'all, man, shit can go down anytime, anywhere, you know. But this is not the first time, we don't had an incident at a parade. Like I said, something like this happened a few years back in Illinois, man, in Chicago. And you know what they did? They took that incident that happened in Illinois, and now because of that, they use that as an excuse to do that assault weapons ban in Illinois now. So these anti-gun politicians, they crave situations like this because it gives them, ammo. No pun intended. It gives them the ammo to try to spark up even more, strict, gun control, you know, uh, laws and shit. A lot of people don't know right here in Michigan, the state that I reside in, they just passed a bill. Well, it's been passed, but it's now in it's active. You can't even buy a pistol on a Tuesday. Somebody make that shit make sense. On Tuesdays in Michigan, in the great state of Michigan, you can no longer buy a handgun or a gun that's classified as a pistol, meaning a gun that got less than a 16-inch barrel. That shit is crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. So y'all just be on the ready. Keep your head on the swivel. And, this shit is just...
Probably for events like this, right?
This shit is crazy.
Necessarily open carry to that event. They can put a restriction on that. And so I suspect that maybe it wasn't allowed at this event, but it's hard to say for sure because I do not think that every single person at this event was individually screened.
Right, and that's the thing that we go back to earlier, because you're in a celebratory situation, and it's not like you have the President of the United States or something like that at an event like this where the magnetometers that you referenced would be required.
I just hope nobody lost their life. Prayers are in the air.
They increase the police presence around, say, the stage. Some of this, you see all the barriers there. There obviously is increased police presence, and there was a stage set up where the players and coaches and others could go up and speak. So they
even you had some motherfuckers that hated the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right, Tracy, they're
and want to just ruin it. Right, people are crazy. Savages are crazy. You can't put nothing past
we had earlier as around there in Kansas City,
a savage.
That stage, and people can pretty much walk right up to those police barricades and be within a number of just a few feet. Really,
y'all ready, Carol? Hey, you got to be ready. If you already ready, guess what? You ain't got to get ready. Yeah, it happened in Kansas City, Elijah.
Police barricades that we're looking at. This isn't what I would consider to be a controlled entry, controlled exit sort of situation inside the police barricades, certainly. And so where you would run into a problem with this, because as you mentioned, that is pretty close. Obviously, I would want to know what type of gun was used. Was this a handgun, which obviously doesn't go as far, or is this a type of long gun situation? And obviously, we don't know the answer to that question yet. Mm-hmm. And if it is long gun, that is deeply concerning because it absolutely could have reached some of the athletes and individuals that were on the stage.
What the
piece
fuck?
Of information coming in, though, Tracy. This is from the Associated Press. The Associated Press now reporting, citing a fire official, that 8 to 10 people have been injured in the shooting. So we said several. They're putting a number of 8 to 10. So, again, a lot of people packed in, and it doesn't take long, depending, I guess.
You know what? This is why I don't even go to places where it's going to be a large crowd or a large group of people. Hell nah. I stay away from those types of environments, because especially if it's lapsed on security, if they ain't thoroughly searching you, I ain't going there. That's just me.
8 to 10 people are injured. It's hard to say again what kind of weapon this is because I again don't know how sort of densely populated, if you will, this area near this parking garage was.
There's the stage just to the right of your picture, I believe, is you see the law enforcement official walking up that step in the picture that we had a moment ago. The only thing I would say, though, that to that, Tracy Walters with us, by the way, as we cover the shooting at Kansas City. The Associated Press says 8 to 10 people have been hit. 2 armed people have been detained at the end of the rally that was celebrating the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl victory. That if you move people back, you're protecting, and not that this isn't important, it is, you're protecting the players and others who are there, but you're not necessarily protecting the people in the crowd,
Right?
because they're still in a very, very small area, right?
Absolutely, but you have to kind of think about these things when you're thinking about security. So then, do we go ahead now and limit, really severely limit, quite frankly, the public's access to their hometown athletes, right? Who just won the Super Bowl, or do we ask that people arrive, 3 to 4 hours early to go through these proper
We
security
gotta set up, I
screenings?
guess, metal
I'm not sure
detectors or
that
something. I know in
lending
Detroit,
exercise to that
they have
because
that
it's
shit
starting to
locked
get
down. Like when you
remember
had a
that there's
fireworks or any
turnaround
type of
time
like,
from when those,
major event, you
make
got to
the
walk
Super
through
Bowl
those metal
to win the
detectors.
Super Bowl that these police departments have to prepare. It's really just a matter of about 2.5-ish weeks that they have to prepare and decide what their perimeters are ultimately going to be.
Sad, though, isn't it, that we maybe have come to that where you wouldn't, people, one thing everybody enjoys, you saw how many people watch the Super Bowl, 123 million, whatever it was on average, and then Kansas City, of course, the second year in a row they get a win. The fans, little kids, long-term fans, everybody, they want to get down there and they want to see these people in person,
Right.
get close to them. So
But savages ruin everything for,
I
that's,
completely agree with you. It's very, very
you can't
sad. I
enjoy
went to the
life
parade when
with
the
these
Dallas
savages
Mavericks,
amongst
won
us.
about 10 years ago here in Dallas, and really, I didn't think about, even though in former law
That's what
enforcement, I
their
didn't think
job
about
is,
what's
to
going
cause
on.
all
And
kind of
it's a
fucking
lot of
chaos and
people packed into a
disorder.
very small environment, and it's incredibly sad to think about the fact that we have to think about these things, but unfortunately, clearly we do here.
It's interesting because I've been to some of these celebrations as a reporter, and obviously you're not in the same position as the general public, and it doesn't feel as crowded. But just anecdotally, I remember years and years ago, when the New York Yankees won the World Series here in New York, 1996, I believe, was the first parade they had down in City Hall, the first one, for that team when they won. And I just remember the feeling of being so packed in, and it wasn't being afraid of a shooter, as we're dealing with here in Kansas City. It was just the
Things
feeling
don't
of
get
a crowd, and everybody
so
started to move
bad.
up the block at once, and you almost felt like you're going to get trampled. So there's always been these concerns of large crowds and what could happen when you pack people in, especially when you have them behind police barricades. It sometimes creates a dangerous situation, but now you're adding in a whole new factor when you're talking about a shooting.
Man, you got to be damn near that way.
Ways to do
Well, you
this,
can't really
but
go out and be
it's
social
hard
no more,
unless you completely
especially
shut
in
down,
large
to
crowds.
completely,
You know,
100% protect against this, isn't it?
some gonna fall
it's-
between the
I
cracks. You
think
feel me?
some-
They was able to get some guns up in there.
to prevent
The
something like this from
savages.
happening. I wish it was possible.
Guns in the wrong hands.
Again, I think part of
Shit.
the problem is that you want people to have access, right? That's something that's guaranteed. To
This
them.
shit is
But at the
ridiculous,
same time,
y'all,
you have
man.
to make sure
I always
that
hate
people are safe.
reporting
And I think
on
what's going to be critical
stuff like
here
this,
is
but I'm just trying to keep y'all in the loop. A lot of people didn't know that this had went down, and
was already on site due to celebration post Super Bowl.
y'all keep y'all heads on the
We
swivel.
saw officers with their service weapons drawn.
Shit can go down anytime, anywhere. That's all I'm gonna say. So just keep your heads on the swivel. You ain't seen nothing yet, man. This is an election year. It's about to get crazy.
Hiding or may have been injured that need attention. And so a lot of work for law enforcement still to be done. But with these 2 people in custody now, assuming that they can speak to these people, that they can interview them. We know in past incidents, sometimes when law enforcement says that someone is in custody or apprehended, that doesn't necessarily mean that that person is in a state where they can actually be interviewed. But if they are, that would glean important information for authorities to quickly rule out whether this was indeed some kind of targeted incident or whether this was an exchange of gun
playing fire between two individual parties. Nevertheless, a lot of work for authorities to do there, and obviously now the medical care is the other angle. We know in this day and age that often when you have a large-scale events, hospitals in and around the area will take notice that we have this mass event that is being planned here, just so you are aware of it, so you have the amount of appropriate personnel on staff should some medical emergency present itself. And it appears now, at least, as police say, multiple people struck, so you can imagine that medical personnel also springing into action. That is what we know right now, that multiple people have been struck, that 2 people are in custody. Right now, no indication that this was a targeted attack, but certainly quite concerning, guys.
Okay, Josh, stick with us if you will. This is what we're following. Multiple people shot at the Super Bowl parade site, the victory parade there in Kansas City, Missouri. 2 armed people in custody. This is very much a developing story. We are going to get in a quick break. First, though, let's listen to someone from the scene and see what they experienced there in Kansas City.
We saw people running out of Union Station on the east side of the doors pretty frantically, and at that moment we were receiving information that we needed to change where we were, so just to gather and then just get to a safe space. So there was information provided quickly, which was nice, but sure, it was a frantic situation, and it is still a little chaotic as people are still finding family members and understanding where is the best, most safe route away.
Yo, Gun Freak Nation, keep your head on a swivel. Let's pray and hope that it was no fatalities involved, no innocent people. Savages are everywhere, not just in Kansas City, of course, all over the nation, all over the world. They're in your neighborhood, believe it or not. So when you go out today in the world, or even in your home, you need to be savage ready. I got a couple of reports of home invasions here in Detroit, last night. Not too far from me. They said some savages was knocking at their front door while the other savages was kicking in their side door. And I pray to God that those people, those innocent people, had firearms to protect themselves, because the police is not going to be there. That happened literally last night, not too far from where I live. So listen, when shit go down, it go down. And some people never see it coming. And some people just ain't prepared for it. You know what I mean? When it do happen. So So listen, you have to just be ready. Do your best to be ready and prepped up at all times, no matter what, man. No, I don't give a damn how peaceful, how the environment may be. It can happen. It can happen. You know what I'm saying? It can happen. And I'm not telling nobody, I'm not saying don't live your life or, be super paranoid. I'm just saying just be wary of your surroundings. Be alert. Be situational aware. If you just do that, and be armed, this will cut a lot of that shit out. A lot of that shit.
2 men, 1 armed. They specifically said, and again, it could change as they continue their investigation, but that tells you that maybe there were 2 people working together, possibly, I don't know if they were in or just near that parking garage, but just, using what.
But anyway, Gun Freak Nation,
an opportunity, a parking garage.
God bless America. God bless this world. Listen, keep your head on a swivel. Stay armed. And just know this, it can happen anywhere, anytime. So be ready. Don't let that devil, don't let that savage shortcut your life. Don't let him cut your life short. And just be ready at all times. I love y'all, Gun Freak Nation. Salute, baby.